Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Maps and Graps. It's been a while. I have been on hiatus, but I'm excited to be back, and I'm so excited to be back with some friends, Shay and Aisha. For those of you who watched our old show, we are finishing actually our five-star Grand Prix coverage, which we started. What was that? 3 months ago. It's been a minute, but and this tournament just ended. Lord, that's crazy. Um, but hey, there's been a lot of stuff going on in professional wrestling, and so we're going to get into some of it today. But before we start, how is everybody doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm here trying to make it and survive, and and that's it. I don't know. Shay, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, just enjoying wrestling. Wrestling's just been really fun lately, so I've just been enjoying that and working also. You got to do that.
Gotta try to pay these bills.
Because these bills don't stop for nobody. Amen. They don't. They not stopping for nothing. They don't care. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it because there's plenty of things. So we had the five-star Grand Prix finals. There were a lot of final matchups. There were some that ended up getting cut. We're going to get to that later when we do this prayer circle. Because the stardom roster is in need of the blood of the lamb. Amen. It's not looking good for folks, but we had a lot of great matches. Starting off with Hanan and Mariah May, all the way to the original end of the show, which was Tam versus Natspoi. And in between, we had a little bit of everything. So there was Azumi versus Momo. We had Suri versus Ami. We had Saori versus Mina. We had Mirai versus Micah. And we had Hazuki versus Nasuko Tora. So which of these matches stood out to you just off first glance? Obviously, the first and last match were extremely emotional for different reasons. But what stood out to you guys from this original lineup?
um, Natspoi versus Tam Nakano. Mm-hmm. That one tore me. I can't even figure the words out because literally I was obsessed. I'm sorry. I'm not being biased because I love Natspoi, but it was a really, really good match. Like I just loved the pace of it, and like Natspoi just like she is a beast. Mm-hmm. Tam is like an Energizer Bunny, as I've said before. It's like you got to hit her with like 10 trucks, and you know what? Natspoi came with 11 trucks. She was ready. Like this was a really, really fun match. I really enjoyed this. This is definitely my favorite. A close second was Saori versus Mina.
Oh yeah.
Oof, mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree. Natsupoi and Nakano, that was great. But actually, my favorite of the bunch, and I don't know why, like Azumi and Momo Watanabe, I don't know. They were giving it. I said, what is going on? For me, it was my favorite. I'm not exactly sure why. It was just like all of the matches were good, but that one just like hit. That was I wrote down right here. I said that it was definitely a banger.
That one was really good. And I think like it's so interesting because that was right before, like, if I'm not mistaken, a day or 2 days before Azumi did her 10th anniversary show. And it's insane. Like, you're doing a 10th anniversary show and you're only 21 years old. Like, that's nuts. Or is she just 20? I don't even think she's 21 yet. I think she's just 20. Just nuts. But Momo, I think, this tournament was the return of, I feel like, Momo big match. Momo, everything that she did turned to gold. She's been a great bully throughout this tournament. It's been excellent. Saori versus Mina was also really great. I've been waiting on that. Like, you have to think, like, Saori is technically kind of the girl who replaced Mina's old position in Cosmic Angels. And so, like, that's a very interesting dynamic. And, like, I think Hanan and Mariah was very emotional from the beginning. I didn't know they were going to lead with that match because it's just like, wow, now we're crying. That's great. Like, okay, cool. But that Ness boy, she's on a sleeper wrestler of the year campaign. Everything she has touched has turned to gold. She's just a great big match wrestler. Like when the lights are the brightest, she's just excellent. And also, I would say like her suplexes, her bridges are so beautiful, so tight, just excellent. And just her and Tam, you know, like they have like that. They already have incredible chemistry as friends, and I think like even better chemistry as opponents. It's just excellent. And also, Natsupoi is known for spoiling the girls' show. She just known for spoil because you know if Tam won this match, she would have been in the final. She would have been, I think, if I'm not mistaken, she would have been the first champion to ever go to the final. But Poi said, "Not today, not today," and she won.
They were all great. No, you were right. Like they were all great. I had just certain things that I would just jot down where Mina and Salary, there was like a moment where Mina like threw her like on her like onto her knees, like she landed on her knees, and I said, "Oh baby," like just painful, just like those certain moves. Like you said, like the bridges were great. I love what I love about a lot of these matches were like kind of the last minute pins where you think it's going to go one way and then all of a sudden somebody will get a roll up and it's over. And I love that because it just kind of keeps you on your toes where you're expecting one thing and you get another that quick. So, yeah.
The girls ate down in the 5-star. So then we get to the final. Now I will say, I knew that they were going to have to change a lot of things because of like, you know, recent injuries. I was not expecting a Micah versus Suzu final. I don't think anybody came into this expecting that. However, I could not be happier. I was so happy. And the thing is, I couldn't even watch the match live. I was boarding my first flight, heading off to Seattle. So like right in the middle of this match, the flight took off. And so I said, oh, I'm not going to know the results until I land. And I was just so upset. But like, these are two of my favorites. These are two people who I said were going to stand out at the beginning. I didn't think that they were going to pull the trigger on Suzu. But the fact that they did, she said that she wants to take over the professional wrestling world. The youngest ever 5-star Grand Prix winner at 21 years old. Already on the cover of magazines. This was phenomenal. Like, this was phenomenal. This was violent. Exactly what I expect from them. That picture of Micah, just put that in your memories. That of her just staring on, because she's coming for her lick back. She gonna get her lick back. My good sis is going to get her lick back, and I can't wait. But what were your thoughts on Suzu versus Micah?
I loved it. I think it was really physical, honestly. I mean, I feel like most of the matches are always physical, but this was like, they had disdain for each other. You know, the chairs, they need to cut a check for them chairs because they've been wild and through this whole tournament. Where was their placement? Where was the chairs placement? I want to know. Because they was in there. There was this one forearm that Suzu did. I was like, knock her head off then, I guess. But I mean, I really, really liked it. It was really, really fun. And yeah, I did not expect this. I was not expecting it to be these two. Like, you know how I was pulling for. You know how I was pulling for. It's always next year.
Oh, hey, Bobby.
Hey. Yeah, but it was really fun. And I'm just excited to see where this leads to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same. All the same.
I really like both of these people a lot. Like, these are two of my absolute favorites in Stardom. So, and it's also interesting because they've been partners quite a bit lately. And so there's a lot of, I would say, crossover there. But this is what's interesting. This is what got the girlies talking. So, and her post-match promo, Suzu says she doesn't want to wait because typically the winner of the 5-star, at least for the last couple of years, will challenge the World of Stardom champion at the December 29th show, Dream Queendom, which they've just announced that will once again be in Yokohama Arena. Suzu says she doesn't want to wait. Said she wants to challenge Tam in November, I believe, which is making a lot of people believe that maybe they don't pull the trigger on making her champion and that Tam's opponent for Dream Queendom ends up being possibly a returning Saya Kamatani. Now, we don't know this yet, but it is very interesting that Suzu's like, oh, I don't want to wait to, for December 29th. I want to go ahead and challenge you in November. So, lots of interesting stuff there. And I will say, there's been a lot of split. Like some people were very upset that Suzu won. They're just like, well, she just got on the roster. She just got here. That's why I always say all women's promotions are not the answer all the time. I'll just say there's still drama, guys. There's still plenty of drama. And like some people are very upset that Suzu won. Some people are very happy that Suzu won, obviously. And so there's a lot of discourse around this, and it's going to be very interesting to see if Suzu actually retains against Tam going forward. But actually wins and, wins the championship from Tam going forward.
I mean, all the girlies were injured, so.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I see her winning. I don't know. That's just my thought process right now. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it, but I just don't see. I don't know. For some reason, I'm just not. I don't know.
I think that because she's so young, her winning the 5-star is going to do so much for her. I don't think that she actually has to win the championship too. I don't. And I think like returning somebody like Saya, she did have the longest ever Wonder of Stardom reign. Like she was, like this was the original plan, and it makes sense. They've been building towards this for years. So, like I said, we don't know, but I don't think that Suzu is like buried or anything if she doesn't win the championship. Like I think that her star is still as bright as ever. So we shall see. Either way, like I said, it's a huge accomplishment for her to just win this, the youngest winner of the most prestigious women's wrestling tournament in the world. So we move. Moving on. Obviously, this was Mariah May's last match in Stardom. And I just wanted to say, just well done. She did 99 matches in Stardom. 99. The most matches in Stardom by any wrestler this year. Period. Like the level of dedication that she gave in those 9 months is insane. Like literally insane. Nobody else has wrestled as many matches. And I think just look at the relationship she's formed with Mina, with Waka, with Hanan, who wasn't even in her faction. That last match was so emotional. And I think she's the real deal. And I think wherever she lands, she's going to be amazing.
Oh, wait. Go ahead, Shay.
I was just going to say, I totally agree. I really, really loved that match as well. It was a really fun match. Very quick pace. Yeah, and I think she's definitely going to be fine. The crying was getting me. I was like, stop. Why are you crying? Don't do this to me. Oh, my God. The tears going down. Yeah, she's definitely going to be fine. Yeah.
When she said Club Venus is here, Mariah May was here, I said, oh, 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 oh.
It was emotional. What was I going to say? I'm so sorry. I completely forgot what I was going to say. I forgot. It was good. It was, shout out to her. And, whenever she makes her supposed debut in AEW, let's listen, this is what I was going to say. It goes to show how great Stardom is, and Japanese wrestling in general, right? They're getting in the reps, and it's, yes. And I'm very much okay, Mariah, I know you want to come here to the States, but 99 matches, it will not be, sis, unless you're working those indies.
And I will say, she is one of those people where I do have hope. Like she's going to get reps in, like whether she's on TV or not. But it's just really odd to see that type of work ethic, especially from girls from the West, especially like for somebody who, let's just be real, on paper, she looks like a model, like that type who could just go straight to, the warehouse and like do completely fine. So to choose that other path is really kind of unprecedented, and she didn't have to do it, but she did it anyway. And like to really immerse yourself, I think like she earned the respect of a lot of doubters. I remember the day she debuted, people said she is defacing the name of Stardom, defacing the name of Joshi. Like it was nasty. It was nasty. Like the discourse was nasty. They said, who is letting these blonde bimbos in Stardom? And we need to get back. This is not real. She's not gonna last a week. She's gonna be gone by next month. What is Rossi cooking? People were saying stuff like that, and like she really stayed the course. And she talks about moving in like with 2 suitcases and wasn't originally planning on staying, and then like uproots her entire life. Like, it's really cool when you see that. And the only other person who's done that in recent history is, a lady we like to call Jamie Hayter. And we saw like what that did, for her career, and just why her wrestling ability is head and shoulders above so many other people, like, in her age range, because Jamie's really young as well. Like, if I'm not mistaken, she's 27, like 27. But like that time in Stardom, just those consistent reps with the best in the world, it makes such a huge difference, I think, for wrestling and ability. And also for Mariah, we see her storytelling, her promos are just on a whole nother level too. So wish her the best in everything that she does. I'm interested to see who is recruited for Club Venus. They said that Mina says she has another member on the way. It's going to be a Japanese member. I hope it's Hanan. I think that makes perfect sense for her to like, jump in there. But we shall see. We shall see. But thank you, Mariah May, for your run in Stardom. It's been great. Moving on. Oh, yes. So this is the prayer circle time. So look, guys. That shelf is getting pretty stacked. We currently have Starlight Kid, Yutami Hayashishita, Saya Kamatani, and now Nats Poi on the injury reserves.
Did Julia, was she injured too or no?
She's not. At least right now.
No, I don't know why I thought she was injured. I know she was on commentary doing her thing, but I thought, okay.
I'm glad that you brought that up. Julia was so emotional. Like, she cried a lot during that 5-star final. She was the winner last year, but Suzu is so important to her, and also Micah's important to her. I was like, yeah, she just kept crying. And I was just like, oh, this is emotional, guys. Y'all need to calm down. Because I love crying with other people. Like, you start crying, I'll just start crying with you. I feel like it's a sign of solidarity, Just like, hey, we cry together. But yes, I feel like this is a very serious conversation that needs to be had seriously, though. Like, Stardom is the best women's wrestling in the world, but I feel like it's coming at a cost. And I think that Bushiroad, and I think that just management needs to step in. Like, this schedule is way too dense. Of just thinking about Bushiroad, who is the parent company of both Stardom and New Japan Pro Wrestling, owns both of them. Look at New Japan, the G1 Climax. Is it a lot of matches? Absolutely. Are injuries just a part of the game? Absolutely. But we also saw that after when the G1 is going on, that's the only thing that's going on. It's just the G1. And then there's also like a 2 to 3 week hiatus afterwards. And I just feel like it's just a lot more streamlined. And like, the wrestlers get at least a break after these big tournaments. Stardom is going back to back to back to back, in addition with big shows in between. So like we have the champions like Tam, like Mariah. People have been like Julia, people have been actively defending their titles while participating in this tournament. In addition, we're going straight into another tournament. The Goddess Tag League is about to start. And so many teams have had to be removed because of injuries now. And like I said, Stardom women's wrestlers are the best women's wrestling in the world, but they're still human beings. And we're starting to see the toll of there's no breaks involved. And it's starting to get worrisome because these are some huge names on the shelf right now. And they're all going down around the same time. Like, there is a common thread here.
And how do you expect to, like you said, how do you expect to survive and to carry on when your top stars are injured? And they're all young. They're all in their 20s, like all between like the 8, I believe so, right? Like I think they're all in their 20s. And I'm like, this is a lot. This is a lot. And if your draw are these wrestlers, like how is that going to affect your audience? How, like, what are the effects, overall?
Yeah. I mean, in Stardom, like I said, they have Goddess Tag League coming up. They have Triangle Derby, which is going to come in right after that. So that's essentially the trios tournament. And then we're on the road to Dream Queendom, which means that's the big show. That's the big New Year's show, December 29th, Yokohama Arena. You need these people. Like, these aren't just like, jobbers or anything. Like, these are big Stardom names. And so, yeah, I think Bushiroad is going to have to step in and just like, there's a lot of stuff that I think the Stardom roster needs that they haven't been getting. And as far as equity, and this is one of those things. The girlies need time off, period. Like, they just do. Like, even think about like somebody like Julia, who literally is doing shows back to back to back. And whenever she like flies to the US, she will go back to Japan and do a show like immediately afterwards. Like, there's no breaks. She's literally having to squeeze in. It's not like there's literally no breaks, no time. And this is not sustainable at all. But shout out to the girlies. I hope everybody gets well soon. I've heard that Saya is coming along. Like, there are rumors she would be ready by Dream Queendom. Possibly the same for your Tommy. I know they said that Natsupoi has, I think, a groin injury. I'm not sure, like, what's the recovery time on that. And I think that Starlight Kid might have the same, or was that your Tommy? They're similar. It's two of them that have groin injuries. But yeah, I need something has to change, because let me tell you something. If a certain couple names go down, me and Rossi gonna have to talk. I'm not going to verbalize it because I don't want to like speak it into existence. But if a certain couple names go down, me and Rossi Ogawa, we will be speaking.
Lyric already has her first class ticket to Japan.
And I actually do have a ticket. I have a ticket to Japan now. I actually do have a ticket. It's not first class. It is not first class. It's very much economy. It is economy. And I still could barely afford it. But I will be in the room for Dream Queendom. So that's very exciting. And I want to see my girls. So that's why I'm saying, like, keep them healthy, please. Keep my girls healthy.
We're going to catch Lyric backstage on a jump.
I was just looking on Google, and it says the usual groin injury healing process is like somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. But I'm sure they could be more or less depending on how severe.
They should be, like, everybody should theoretically be good by December 29th. But there needs to be some precautions put in place to make sure that they are good. Like, the answer is not having everybody still wrestle 5 times a week. Like, and they're traveling. They spend most of their time like on a bus, traveling back and forth. Like, like when they're not working, they're traveling. That's literally it. Like, that's just about it. That Stardom schedule is brutal. Does it now? Will it make you like a? Will it make an okay wrestler a good wrestler, or a great wrestler in a couple months? Yes, absolutely, it will, 100%. But it comes at a cost. So, Roxy, you will be dealt with. I hope it's worth it.
And that's on what?
Period. Yeah, y'all just go find this little random little black girl behind the scenes at Stardom Show. Hey, let me talk to you. Like, who are you? Come on. Let's talk. Hey, I came here to see you. That's why I came here. I came here to see you. Yeah. So, speaking of Stardom shows, we have another big Stardom show on October 9th. This is going to be a good one. Some things have had to be moved around, but hey, this is the October 9th Nagoya Golden Fight Show. So obviously we are headlined by Tam Nakano versus Nasuko Tora. She didn't win the battle of the 5-star, but she won the war. I told you I told y'all she accumulated enough bodies over the course. She got what she wanted. Because she was racking them up during the 5-star. Like, shout out to Nasuko Tora for that. We have Kairi's last Stardom match for a while. She will be teaming up with Mayu Iwatani and Inai Takahashi versus is that who is that? That's Saya Ida, that's Suzuki, and is that Kaguma? I believe that's Kaguma. Or is that Hanako? My eyes are sorry, y'all. Anyway, y'all get it. Anyway, we have the Artist of Stardom Championships will be on the line. We have the team of Julia, Tekla, and Mai Sakurai versus Suzu Suzuki, Micah, and Megan Bayne. Now, this is probably the match on the card that I'm looking forward to the most. Obviously, Suzu and Micah were just in that 5-star final together. They actually did a press conference for this, and Megan Bayne and Micah have a very interesting dynamic. Like, Megan was just like, "Hey, Micah, you're not a loser. Like, just because like you should be proud of yourself of how far that you in the 5-star, but we don't need to worry about there now. You're a killer. I'm a killer. Let's win." I said, "Oh." Not the girlies linking up. Now we giving pep talks. I said, "Oh, that's what I like to see. Turn this up." I like that. We have Mirai versus Momo. Y'all know how I feel about this match. I hope Momo wins.
Listen, Mirai, every time when I see this photo, like, homegirl, her hair is giving like T-Boz, but like from TLC. Y'all, it is.
Okay, Bob. Don't come for T-Boz. This is giving Kate Gosselin.
Yes, Johnny Kate plus Kate, baby.
Okay, it's like a mixture. It's a little bit of T-Boz with the.
It is, and it's 3-tone too. So it's just like you can't miss it. Come on, Bob.
It was teased up in the middle too. It was teased up. So
all I know is between Tam, Natsuko, and then you have Mirai and Momo, the chair's gonna be involved, and they need to cut a check. A check needs to
absolutely. The chair company needs to cut a check.
Cut the check.
So we have that. We have the high speed championship will be on the line. Saki Kashima versus Mai Sarah. I love me some Mai Sarah. She has showed up after everybody's matches asking, "Can I get a title shot? Can I get a title shot? Like, can I get a hug? Can I get a hug? Where my hug at?" Like, she showed up, "Can I get a title shot?" And she got turned down quite a bit. And you know what? Saki is nasty. Saki is very, very nasty. And I say that because she got really nasty towards Miss May, and she was saying May had lost a match, and so she came out, "Yeah, hey loser, I'm gonna finally give you a shot because you're a loser. And you know what? That's why you're gonna lose. That's why you're gonna lose, Miss May is ready. She's been a great addition to the Stardom roster. She's been very funny, and she's also just very technically efficient in the ring. So I hope she wins. Next, they don't have a graphic for this match yet, but we still have Mina Shirakawa versus Suri in a UWF rules match, so MMA style. And if you've been following Mina on social media, she's been on her Zoom in the boxing ring with her little, with her gloves on. Mina has been on her Zoom. I'm excited because there's nothing better in wrestling than Mina when she has a point to prove. She says, "I am not just a pretty face. I will hurt you." Yes, that's the look at her in the cage. Oh my gosh, no, put it back up, Shay. I'm gonna spotlight it. You see her? Mina is on her Zoom. Look at those gloves. Period. Period. Mina said, "Yeah, Suri, I heard that you like a real fighter or whatever, but I can fight too. I could do a little hello." So no, this match is going to be really good. So that's October 9th. Oh, also I forgot there was a 5-star Grand Prix award ceremony. I forgot to put these on here, but I'm going to read out the results. And so best skills of the tournament went to Azumi. Fighting spirit of the tournament went to Nasuko Tora. Outstanding performance of the tournament went to Natspoi, as it should. Period. Blue Star's best match went to Mirai versus Micah, September 30th, Yokohama. Red Star's best match went to Hazuki versus Suzu Suzuki. Oh, I like that, how that sounded. Got a little sweetness to it. September 23rd in Sendai. First runner-up obviously went to Micah, and the 5-star Grand Prix winner went to Suzu Suzuki. I always like when Stardom does these little awards after like a big tournament to just shine a light on people who've been outstanding. I always like that, and so those were just the awards. Shout out to Natspoi. I do believe that she deserved outstanding performance of that tournament because my girl turned it on.
Giving it.
She gave it all. And yeah. And Natspoi is a really great example of that tournament of possibly of the wrestlers being overworked because she won the Goddess of Stardom belts while doing this whole 5-star Grand Prix. And think about it, her and Saori, they've been working. And Saori especially, because she's been in the United States too, doing, she's been doing matches for Skabon. Natspoi has been working Sendai Girls and doing shows over, the summer. And Saori also worked All Japan. She worked All Japan because Kairi was in that All Japan show too, and so was Saori. And so, yeah, the girlies have been working, and so we need them to get some breaks. Amen. Okay. So moving on into the world of New Japan, we have a big show also on October 9th because who needs sleep, right? Nobody cares about our sleep schedules. That's fine, cool, whatever. So we have Destruction and Ryogoku, not to be confused with Destruction and Kobe that recently occurred. This card is actually really, really great, and I think that a lot of these matches are really going to cook. I'm going to start from essentially the bottom of the card. We have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag titles are up for grabs. The current champions, the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney, will face off against the former champions and the Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida, who have honestly, I feel like they're doing the best work that they've ever done as a team right now. Like, I don't know, over the summer, everybody going to Impact while the heavyweights were doing G1. everybody came back just like 10 times better. We love to see it. I don't know. So this match is probably going to be incredible. I'm excited. We have Hikuleo and El Phantasmo, members of the Gorillas of Destiny, will face off against the other Bullet Club War Dogs, the heavyweights, Alex Coughlin and Gabe Kidd, for the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag titles. Well, we have a really important 6-man match. So the current never Openweight 6-man tag championships will be defended from the current champions, Tanahashi, Ishii, and Okada, versus the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, and Josh Alexander. And so I think this is all of their first time in Japan in a very long time. And so this match is actually going to be really, 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 really great. I think that these are 3 of the most valuable members of the Impact roster. And so sending them over for this show is like a big deal. We have David Finlay versus Tama Tonga for the Never Openweight Championship. Now, I don't know why we're doing this match again. You know, I'm not saying that I'm not saying it's a bad thing or anything. I just want to know why we're doing it again. I don't know. I can't say I'm looking forward to it. This is what I'm saying about right now. This is where we are with the Bullet Club, with the New Japan Bullet Club. We now have members who are more important, who are more interesting than the leader. Like the War Dogs are fascinating to me. Like those little videos they be shooting, like the matches that they be having, the War Dogs are fascinating. They are very interesting creatures. Like they're just fascinating. They're really into the old Bullet Club style of kicking ass, taking names, and doing what you want. I don't know what's not clicking with David. It's not clicking. He's doing well. Great gowns, beautiful gowns. But I feel like he's being overshadowed by the War Dogs. And that is not a sign for them to tone it down. That's a sign for him to pick it up. And especially with obviously in AEW, the Bullet Club Gold, I think, is killing it. So they have the opposite problem. So I feel like Jay White is fascinating. Juice Robinson is fascinating. The Guns are only interesting when they're with them. And so we have the opposite problem. Don't get me wrong. They're great with them, but without them, Jesus, I don't know. They might as well not be there.
Let it be known.
Speak on it. We just got to talk about it. We do nobody any favors by lying.
Forever the ass boys. I don't care what anybody says. Period.
Not ass. Not ass. This is not a safe space.
I got my fan out.
Listen, Shay, I low-key have gotten on your side, and I am almost Team Jay White. I'm not 100% there. I am like 90% there. You know,
I'm saying? War behind Jay White.
Exactly. And that's exactly why for this card, I'm praying on the downfall of everyone in Bullet Club.
Oh, not everybody. Ooh.
Everyone. Well, except for Alex.
You might want to lay low.
Ooh. They know what they did. So.
Oh, okay. The North remembers. But yeah, I don't know. Tama Tonga, I think Tama Tonga is very, very solid, very nice guy. I just want to see him doing something else other than this David Finlay thing. But, hopefully this match is better than their first one. He was stretchered out that first time. Basically, David Finlay beat down, yada, yada, yada. So I will say in the preview tags that they've been doing, I think, more interested than I was the first time. So that is a plus. And I think that, ever since El Phantasmo has joined the Gorillas of Destiny, I feel like everybody in that faction has, greatly benefited from it. And so I will say, I don't even think this is on Tama Tonga. I think that, you know, he does pretty well anywhere you put him. This is on David Finlay. Like David Finlay, I feel has to show something. Like I feel like this match is very important for him. He has to show everybody something because right now, whoa, okay. Well, we have this, what I believe is going to be a match of the year contender easily. This IWGP Junior Heavyweight 3-way match. Hiromu Takahashi versus Lio Rush versus Mike Bailey. This is the one. These three, every combination of their matchups, whether it's Leo versus Speedball, or it's Speedball versus Hiromu, or Leo versus Hiromu, or Hiromu versus Speedball, every single combination of these three has been magic. Absolute magic this year. Like these three are the top 3 junior heavyweight wrestlers in the world today. They are my top 3. They have been absolutely excellent everywhere that they've gone. And all of their matches this year are some of my favorite matches of the year. So to put them all in the 3-way, and New Japan, you know, like 3-ways aren't like their go-tos. Like they're not their go-tos. But because they're doing this is because they know that these 3 can and will deliver. And I am excited. I'm very, very, very excited. Bobby has also said that I'm interested in this triple threat. Like this is going to be great. I know that this is a match of the year contender waiting to happen. I'm excited. I wish that it was main eventing, but sadly we have foolishness main eventing. This Sonata versus Evil stuff is going too far. And I've had enough. Sonata has not held his championship belt in over a month at this point. Yeah, because Evil stole the belt. I'm going to be honest. I felt like when Jay White stole MJF's belt last night, it was sexy. It was giving. It gave. This is not giving. The girls got nothing out of this bargain. Nothing. We are in hell. House of Torture has ruined so many nights of New Japan Pro Wrestling for me. I cannot put this into words. I have not felt this disappointed since like being a child watching a bad WrestleMania and crying. I hope that this feud is finally put to bed. I hope that it is done. I hope that, and to do this in Ryogoku, I feel like it's disrespectful because the Ryogoku Kujikan Arena is one of the most prestigious wrestling venues in the world. And to have Evil at the top of the card defacing, this is just, it's not good. It's not good. It's not great. I'm not a fan. I'm not pleased. I hate House of Torture. I would like you to know that. I hate House of Torture. If House of Torture has 100 haters, I'm one of them. If House of Torture has 1 hater, it's me. And if House of Torture has no haters, I have ceased to exist. That doesn't work for me, brother. It doesn't.
Well, I am looking forward to actually checking this out. I have I'm a fan of Mike Bailey, of course, and Lio Rush. I haven't seen too much. He's part of Rev Pro, right? Is he mainly?
He's done some Rev Pro dates this year, but he's not like on the roster.
Okay, so I've seen a little bit. So that one I'm definitely looking forward to, and I'm actually looking forward to checking out all of it. So. Bobby is on the same page. So
this is a fantastic card, guys. Like it really is. Outside of the main event, though, every single match, like even David Finlay versus Tama Tonga, like I feel like I want to see some. I know it's going to be a minimum of good, but I need it to be great. But everything, like this card is actually really, really great. Like it is really, really great outside of the main event. We just got to keep it in prayer.
I can't. Well, I'm stepping behind Motor City Machine Guns. That's all I know. I'm stepping behind them, so I'm of course. Stop.
I have nothing to add.
We move. WrestleDream happened. This was a lot bigger when I put it on here. It doesn't matter. We had a 0-hour show. We had a lot of matches in between. I was obviously there in person for this, and then I actually went back and I rewatched it so I could make sure that I knew everything that you all saw. I'm gonna start a 0 hour.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whose idea it was to do this mixed 8-person tag, but I really enjoyed myself. I'm not gonna lie, I really did enjoy it. Athena hitting that O face on Lee Moriarty was crazy. Athena teaming up with Satoshi Kojima, like the bread chants. Somebody said it. Who's it? Emily? I was sitting next to Emily Heller, and she was like, "Wow!" So they did meat chants the other week, and now it's bread chants. So it's meat in the bread. It's the bread and the meat. We're very unserious individuals over here in the AEW fan base. Very unserious people. But I was a fan of this. I will say, I need to see more. Like I appreciate Athena being on these cards in some way, but like I feel like she could do a lot more than a 0-hour match. Now I do understand like there has to be like some work to integrate her back into like the AEW television, but she's coming up on time to. She's probably going to drop that belt soon. She won it last year at Final Battle, which was in December. So I can see her holding it for, possibly a year. She's already the longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion in history. But I'm almost positive that Tony is going to let her hold on to it for a year, as he should. Like, I think that is 100% the right call. But we're coming up on time. It's October. And so I'm sure that he doesn't want to. I don't think he wants to integrate her fully in that until she drops that belt, which I think makes sense. There are people already complaining there's too many belts on AEW TV. Whatever.
I understand what you're saying, but like, does there need to really be like Tony Khan not wanting Athena to be too much integrated because of, or her having to be reintegrated into AEW? Like, does that have to be a thing? Because literally we looking at this card and like, oh, my light went out. Literally we had Claudio versus Josh Barnett, and like, baby, like, as great as that was, which you'll get to, it's like, there are plenty of people, I believe, plenty of wrestlers that aren't necessarily integrated into AEW that will still get more time than Athena.
There were more, but there was a reason behind the Claudio Josh Barnett match. Like Josh Barnett was an actual, like, a direct protege of Antonio Inoki, and Mox was supposed to originally have that match, actually, and then he gets injured, and so obviously Claudio fits in. So like that one did have a story behind it, and I was actually like, had Mox been there, it would have gone on the main card. That one was going to be on the main card rather than 0 hour. Also, shout out to Jon Moxley on commentary. He has a very bright future. If he ever wants to hang up this wrestling thing, he has a very bright future.
I was shocked at how much he was talking. I was like, oh, the man, I mean, obviously he can talk, but he was just giving. He didn't even care. He's like, at this point, I'm going to just pay the fines. Just here's my money.
I feel like he comes off as a person who doesn't talk much, but it's very clear he's one of those people, and I feel like I'm a lot the same way, who's really not talkative unless I'm talking about something like I'm an absolute nerd about. And then I just can't shut up, because like Jon Moxley is a nerd. Like, he is a grappling especially like an MMA catch wrestling nerd. Like, the amount of facts, I think Excalibur said at one point, like, you can breathe now. It's okay. Like, the words are not going to run away from you, my dog. Like, let's relax.
It was great.
He was great. Somebody said, I like to see Athena wrestle in the New Japan show. Now hear me out. I think that that's the natural progression for her. I think that is the natural progression for her. I think that she should be in that New Japan Strong Women's title picture, in my opinion. Like that's one thing that she's never done, that she said that she wants to do with her career. She wants to do Japan. Like she wants to, like, really mix it up. And so I feel like that's the natural progression for her. Like, don't get me wrong, she needs to be in the AEW Women's World title picture, but I don't think she was going to win it anytime soon. I think that there's a few other people. Like, I think Willow should probably win that belt before her. And especially after her having this long, ROH run, I think putting her in the New Japan title picture, I think that's a great call. We had Luchasaurus versus Nick Wayne. This one did what it needed to do. It was a good squash match. Gave Nick Wayne a match in front of his hometown crowd. Luchasaurus continues to be one of the best big men, I think, in professional, most complete big men in professional wrestling. We had the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus TMDK. Shay, this was for you.
I get excited. I was like,
I love TMDK. I think they're so funny.
They are so funny. Like, I forgot. I found like YouTube videos from like back with them, and they just like are the funniest set of human beings to be in the same room. And it's like, stop it right now. I'm obsessed. Like, I was so happy when I saw it. I was like, hey!
They're just so hilarious. And I think like with a team like the Acclaimed, that it was just a great chemistry. Like, it was just a really great chemistry there. And so we had, I'm glad, I don't know where I got this graphic from, but I'm glad they put it in this order, in order of importance. Yeah. So we had Starks versus Yuta. It happened. I will say, out of all the matches on the main card, I do feel like this was the weakest one. And I do feel like and it's not all on the performers. I do believe that part of it was just where they were slotted on the card of where this happened, because what was this came right after what? It came right after, was it after Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr.?
I think it might have been.
Because Mox was still on commentary.
I think it, hold on, let me see.
It was either right after or right before.
So I think the order it went in, it was that after TMDK and the Acclaimed, I think it was MJF versus the Righteous. Eddie Kingston. Where is?
No, so it was right before Bryan Danielson. So it it was directly between Swerve versus Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they were put in a really odd spot on the card, but I do also think that there just wasn't a lot of chemistry. I got it, man. Y'all not ready for this conversation. How do I say this? Wheeler Yuta is a technical wrestler. Ricky Starks is not a technical. I think that that's fair to say.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that that's fair to say. My worry, I think that Ricky is great with promos. I think that he has a great charisma, great character. I will say, outside of the Danielson match, I cannot say that I watch his matches and I anticipate him in the ring. Like, I can't say that a Ricky Starks match gets announced on the Dynamite card and I'm like, oh, this is a must-see. This is going to be a banger. I can't say that about his matches. Outside of the Danielson stuff. But I mean, Bryan Danielson can have a 5-star match with a broom. So there's also that. So that's my fear. That's my current fear right now. Like, for the in-ring isn't really clicking for me. And I can't really say that because I've seen Yuta have matches with just about a lot of people, and he typically he performs pretty well. And I can name several memorable Yuta matches. I can't say outside of the Danielson match that I have a lot of memorable Ricky Starks matches. Promos, yes, absolutely. But when it comes to that in ring, something's not clicking for me.
I think it seems to me that Yuta and Ricky have something that the other doesn't have.
Yes.
What it seems like for me, Wheeler Yuta, like, yes, he's a technical wrestler and he's good at it, but I'm always bored by him. And that's unfortunate. Like, it's just not, you know what I mean? Like I'm, and I don't want it to be like come across that I don't like him, but like just watching, I'm like, okay, but it's lacking something. Whereas Ricky Starks has that. Like, he is a star. But like you said, the wrestling component, he's good, but is it memorable other than outside of Bryan Danielson or even the match he had with CM Punk, which I also, enjoyed. I also think, yes, they have to kind of go in a different direction. And I'm not sure exactly where they're going, especially since Punk is gone and they kind of had that kind of set up. I'm not sure if I really buy Ricky being a manager, especially for Big Bill. Like, that to me is kind of like, but yeah, I think just those two, if they could just glean off of each other, I think they both will be better. But yeah, I don't know. But I'm still a fan. Like, Ricky Starks is still my dude. So
yeah, that was the weakest match on the card for me. And so, yeah, I don't know. Like, I will say, for me, I am a very in-ring first person. Obviously, if you've ever heard me talk, that is the primary thing for me. And I don't know, because you can't wrestle Bryan Danielson every week. Trust me, everybody wants to. Literally, everybody wants to. You can't wrestle. And I will say, like, I feel like AEW was one of those places that, like, you can have the promo ability and you can have the charisma, but you're not going to cross over into that next super stardom level unless like the in-ring is there. It's a very dream match hardcore fan type thing. Like, we fantasy book in our sleep. That's what AEW fans do. Like, we literally fantasy book in our sleep everything. Like, of just, it's about the matches. People are literally just obsessed watching matches all the time. Like, we check Cage Match on a regular time. It's like that's just how AEW fans are. And so, you know what I mean?
But I'll be checking Cage Match, but y'all have at it.
I do be checking Cage Match. I'm not lying. I do be on Cage Match. I'm on Cage Match right now. Right now, my other tab open is definitely Cage Match. So yeah, we move. Like I said, obviously these are both two very young stars, and so it's not like their careers are over or anything. Like, they're both still growing. And also we've seen a lot of growth from both of them, I think, this year. And so hopefully they will both continue to grow. We had it in JF in a handicap match versus the Righteous. This was a fun opener. But MJF is another person we gotta have a conversation about. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Ever since Big Cole got put on the shelf, he's getting exposed. Like, this tofu shit ain't going. It's not. And I think it's because, like, it's one thing for you to do like your little hokey pokey during Double or Nothing, right? Because you're up against Sammy Guevara, Jack Perry, and Darby Allin, who are all notably not great talkers. So you're going to look like gold just standing next to them, just because they're not that great. And on the mic, great wrestlers, but on the mic just leaves a lot to be desired. However, MJF, you up against King Switch, baby. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, and that's also the thing for people who don't watch like New Japan and didn't watch his New Japan run. Jay White is not even like, he's not even like turned up right now. That's what's scary. Like he's not even turned up right now, y'all. He's not even like he's not even doing his best right now. Like he's on cruise control. If this man decided to like boot up and get on his Zoom, it's crickets.
It's quiet.
It's real quiet. It's getting real spooky. Like it's getting real spooky. Like Jay White was in New Japan, but like Jay White is one of those other people, is one of those people from MJF's age bracket who he's finally coming face to face with, like from his age bracket, because Jay White is only 30. He is the only IWGP Triple Crown champion as both a foreigner, and he did it before he turned 30. That's unheard of. Like that is absolutely unheard of. MJF is 27. Like they're in the same age bracket. Like that's also the thing. Like MJF has always been the star of the young guys. Like I said, compared to, because he's the only one who can wrestle and talk. Everybody else can wrestle, but out of the young guys, he's the only one who can wrestle and talk. Especially as we get these New Japan imports. We have Jay White, obviously, this year, and most likely Will Ospreay next year. It's about to get real spooky for him. It's about to get real spooky for him. Because these two can wrestle. And although Jay White is definitely the better talker, Will Ospreay can talk. He just got to learn how to like not say cunt every like third word. But once he stopped, he takes that and bruv out of his vocabulary. And we saw a little bit of that heading into All In. He can cut a really good promo. Like he can cut a really good promo. MJF is about to get real spooky. And it's already starting to get real spooky. He's getting exposed.
Okay. Y'all said 30 years old, so I had to Google this. Ain't no way Jay White is 30 years old. I don't.
You fighting with Google now? Come on now.
That man is at least like 37.
Whoa.
Okay, you know what? Maybe it's just the wrestling. The wrestling ages you. But I'm looking at this man. That don't look like a 30-year-old to me.
He's very young. You didn't pick up on that. Like he's very youthful, especially like he only just grew that facial hair and like fairly recently. Like especially like without the facial hair, he looks like 21.
He has a baby face.
Yeah, he has a baby face. Seriously.
I'm clicking on Google Images. Let me see him.
Look at the baby face. Look at the baby face.
Yeah.
I don't know. This man is 37. But anyway, I think what is important. I think you're right, Lyric. I think that listen, they paired MJF with Adam Cole because they knew that they needed something because the act was getting a little bit stale, right? And he actually started wrestling. And he does really well with Adam. And by himself, it's it's the lighter side of MJF is just not there. And so what's really going to happen? I don't know. Like, I think kind of the only way, especially if Adam is going to be out for a while, they said he's going to need 2 surgeries for his ankle. So if Adam is going to be out for a while, I think, the only way that I feel like they can salvage this really is if like MJF, if Jay White beats him and MJF is on this quest to prove himself, start from the bottom and work his way back up.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
And I will say, like, I don't think that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think, like, that's a fresh story from him that we've never seen. We've never seen him climb from the bottom up to the top. I think that that's the best thing for him. And let's just be real. I don't think that there's anything left for him to do as champion. I think it's time to get the belt off of him. He's already, sadly, going to break Kenny's record for longest AEW World Champion run. And I'm very upset about it because it's on November 1st would break the record, and obviously Full Gear's on November whatever, and so we're going to go past that. So he will have already held it for a year. I was in the building when he won it the first time. So like holding it for over a year. We do not need to stretch this into 2024. Nobody wants to hear that bidding war shit. I'm gonna be honest. Like, one, like nobody wants to hear it because it's stale, and I think also, but two, like nobody wants to hear it just because right now I feel like for AEW, you don't need you. Even if they're joking, you don't need your top star. I'm gonna threaten to go somewhere else. No, you need actual company people who are really down and like really like our sport. It's not cute. It's not cute because guess what? You don't see nobody else doing that. Nobody, other companies don't do that. Like, no, it's just not cute. And also, buddy, you resigned. We know it's okay. It's okay, and that's the and you should have. It was the best position. It's the best decision for you, 100%. But let's just be real. So I think that too. I think Jay White is the perfect person. Jay White is ready. He came into AEW ready to be world champion, but he's definitely ready now. Like I think he's definitely ready. He has it. Bullet Club Gold. They know, and I'm gonna be honest. They can do the hokey, like the playful, the chill, while still being intimidating. Like they get the balance right. Jay White gets the balance right. And I think that MJF, because he's never been a face before, I think he's still trying to get that balance right. And for him to work on getting that balance right, I don't think he needs the world championship to do it.
100%.
I think the potential's there. I think, but he needs to go on like this solo journey and like it's similar to, and I think that's one thing that Hangman is really good at, of just like right now we're watching Hangman doing this whole solo journey of finding himself. So when he does become world champ again, it's going to make sense. Like, you know, it's just going to make perfect sense. And also like the Elite, one thing about them that I love and I sometimes hate about them, because like I want my instant gratification. I want it right now, but they like playing the long game. Like they like making you wait for it. I have been to 3 pay-per-views this year waiting for Kenny Omega to win. None of them. None. I've been to 3 different countries this year. And Kenny Omega has not won yet. But that's something that they do very well. They play the long game very well. They do very well. I think MJF needs to take a page out of that book. Anyway.
Real quick about the Righteous. I have not really paid attention to the Righteous. I will be honest. I know they're, doing their thing on Ring of Honor. I guess now I have to start paying attention to them and kind of seeing what they're doing. But sure.
I like the Righteous. I like that little folk dance, that folklore praise dance that they be doing. I like that little dance that they be doing.
The little cult leader dance. Like this is like the cult, right? Like
yes,
this is what it is. Like they're essentially giving cult leader, right? Trying to get.
Yeah, it does. And I will say, like they do. I don't know. I think I do like the stuff that they did in Ring of Honor. They had a great match. What was that? Was that Super Card of Honor, or was that Death Before Dishonor? They had that match with Dark Order, and I was shocked because I didn't know they could hoop like that. To be quite honest, like I really didn't know. But I was surprised. Hey, I'm not familiar with your game, The Righteous, but hey, so we'll see. As of right now, MJF is still the ROH Tag Team Champions. I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't mean anything until he shows up on Honor Club. Like, if there was ever, I need them to start showing up on Honor Club. If y'all gonna push, if you're gonna put the titles on all of them, at least push some get some subscribers out of it. Jesus Christ, I don't know, but whatever, we move. Up next, I'm gonna skip this one and come back to it. We had the 4-way tag team match. This was cute. The Bucks versus the Guns versus Hook and Orange Cassidy versus the Lucha Bros. I feel like this was cute. It was cute. It did what it needed to do. The Bucks are now the #1 contenders to the AEW Tag Team Championships, and they're gonna finally, Jesus Christ, please finally get them belts back from them people. I've had enough. Get them belts back from them people. Y'all can say whatever y'all. And actually, no. I'm gonna start talking my shit. Y'all can say whatever you want about the Young Bucks, but guess what? The tag team division has never, ever, ever been better than when they have been champions. You've seen it. You can look it up. It's all there. It's all there. 9 times out of 10, if they're an AEW tag team, the Young Bucks gave them their best match. And guess what? That counts for FTR too. You can say whatever you want about the Young Bucks, whether they're fighting the jobbers or whether they're fighting the best tag teams in the world. That can give everybody a good match. They can lead everybody, whether they're green or whether they're 20-year-old veterans. And guess what? I just want to say some tag teams cannot do the same. And I feel we need to start being very honest about this FTR tag run. Very honest. It hasn't been great. It has not been great. Outside of those Bullet Club Gold matches, and I listen, hey, hats off. They were excellent. They were excellent. One thing I am is a truther. Those FTR versus Bullet Club Gold matches were excellent. They were excellent. But FTR has proven they can only hoop with elite level workers. Jay White and Juice Robinson are elite level workers. They are. 2 of the best wrestlers in the world. Juice Robinson is dependable, solid, a collision cowboy through and through. He is. But I say all this to say FTR didn't have good matches with the Acclaimed. They didn't have good matches with the Guns. They didn't have good matches with did I say the Acclaimed? I said, who else did they not have good matches? The Lucha. They didn't have good matches with the Lucha Bros. Now that's crazy. Y'all. Because the Lucha Bros can hoop with just about anybody. But you can't wrestle with the Luchadors. They had good 5-minute matches with Iron Savages and Workhorsemen, but those are 5-minute matches. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. Like, you can't say that about the Young Bucks. You can't. You can't. They had great matches with everybody that they've been in the ring with, and that brings me to my point. This FTR versus Aussie Open match wasn't that great. The last 5 minutes were. But like, Aussie Open was carrying that match on their back. And Mark Davis got injured in the process, so I'm real hot. I'm really upset about it. I'm Aussie, oi, 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 guys. I love Aussie Open, and I think that they are, right now, I do believe that they are the best tag team in the world. I genuinely do, and that's why they continue to get booked. They might not win all the time, but the reason why they've been booked in all these big positions after getting signed is because they are that good, and they are dependable. You can put them anywhere, and they're dependable. But this match wasn't that great, and it was because I don't know. Like, FTR is just like sometimes they just move slow, and I just, what are we doing?
Unfortunately, it wasn't that memorable for me either. So
it wasn't there, and the thing is, it didn't hold a candle to the match that they had last year. Was, I mean, excellent. And I think it was truly a match of the year contender last year. The one that they had at Royal Quest in New Japan. This is how I feel. I feel like FTR did the best work of their career last year because I feel like they were motivated. They were hungry. They were like, we want to be known as the best tag team in the world. We want to be like acknowledged. We want people to finally acknowledge us. So they went out to, I'm going to do New Japan. I'm going to do AAA. I'm going to do Ring of Honor. I'm going to have these classics with the Briscoes, with Aussie Open. Like, I'm going to do this. However, I feel like FTR, once they re-signed those contracts, they've been chilling. Like, let's be real. That is why the Acclaimed lost the belts, because they didn't want to do that's why the Acclaimed lost the Guns, so the Guns could lose to FTR, because FTR didn't want to lose their overness by beating the Acclaimed, which makes sense. I mean, we'll say, because they would have got blitzed at that point, because the Acclaimed was so over at that point. Like, they would have got rocked no matter how over they are. But I feel like they've been complacent ever since. Like, they've been kind of like coasting, and like that motivation, that hunger that they had last year is just not there. Because this tag team championship run has not been memorable. And they did get, I feel like they got, warped into a lot of that, the punk stuff with the CMFTR. And so they were just playing second fiddle for a while. But let's call a spade a spade. This just hasn't been memorable. And that's why you have all these other tag team championships moving around them, like the Ring of Honor tag team championships. Like, that's why that's happening. I don't know. I just don't I don't see that hunger. And like, do you really believe you're the best tag team in the world? You don't have to show me something. I'm like the state of Missouri. You got to show me.
How long have they had the titles for?
Almost all goddamn year. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you like that. But they've had these titles almost all goddamn year. And you mean to tell me we didn't have a memorable match until what? When was that, last month? When did that Bullet Club Gold match happen? Are you serious? They beat the Guns of what was that, February, March? Enough. Let me tell you something. The Young Bucks faced Aussie Open on a random rampage earlier this year before Aussie Open wasn't even signed. And they had a banger of a match. No stakes. No stakes on a random rampage. Wake that tea up.
All right.
Yeah, sorry. Moving on. FTR won. And so we seem to be heading towards the Young Bucks versus FTR at Full Gear. It's time for them boys to take their rightful place back and become the first three-time AEW World Tag Team Champions in California. That's going to be really beautiful. And honestly, this probably has the potential to main event. This might main event. And I say this because, these last couple pay-per-views have all been main evented by like different titles. So we had All Out was international. We had WrestleDream was TNT. But there is, from what I've been hearing, Full Gear, it's a lot of titles that could possibly main event. Maybe even women's, who knows? Wake that up. I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We had this trios match. We had Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi versus Sammy Guevara, Will Ospreay, and Konosuke Takeshita. This was a train wreck, and I loved every second. It was chaotic. It was messy. I was a fan of this. I was a fan of this. Maybe it's because obviously y'all know who I show up for. I had my Golden Lover shirt on. I was prepared. I was on. It was great. I love this match. Y'all liked it?
The clips I saw, it was good. Okay. I didn't sit there. I watched what I watched for what I wanted to see, and then I hit the road, Jack.
AKA Jay White. She's one CJ White. That's it.
No, that is not true.
I know you were pissed he wasn't on this card.
Listen, they've been leaving me like dry every time. They leave until like 9 o'clock. You gotta wait till 9 we come out. Every time I get somewhere to be sometimes. They hate me. I'm telling you, they do it on purpose. They do it on purpose.
You said, where's Jay White? Oh, he not here?
He was a setup.
My crew, let's go. She said, my crew, let's go.
She said, okay.
That was for the tag match with the gun.
She's like, I'm clicking out of here. I enjoyed it. Chris Jericho. And so, you know what I mean? Like I thought it was fine. It's very interesting, especially after Dynamite last night, just to kind of see, how Don Callis is building his 12 horsemen of the apocalypse. I know that that is not, I'm crossing lots of things. So just follow me here. The Last Supper, he is building his disciples, and I'm interested to see where that goes. But back to this match, I enjoyed it.
Unpack the Chris Jericho. I just want a little more unpacking.
I just, I don't know. Like him and Kenny together. I think that's what it is. It's like, it's not, for me, it's not there yet. I think that's what it is. And so I was here for, for Kenny and Coda and
I understand that. I will say they've grown on me as a team, Kenny and Chris Jericho, because there's a very rich story there. And I don't think it really clicked for me until the media scrum. They're really enjoying this. Like they're like, my thing is like, typically, like if the wrestlers are genuinely having fun with it, I try not to like get like my own feelings because they genuinely enjoy this team. Like you can tell, like it's something that they've always wanted to do in their careers. Like they're both from Winnipeg, and honestly, the match that they had at the Tokyo Dome was the catalyst for AEW, and Don Callis was involved. And so, like, there's a very long story there. That's why they call themselves the Golden Jets. I don't know. They done added Hobbs to the Don Callis family, so everything is real crazy. It's getting real spooky out here. I will say I like that move, by the way. I do like that move. Hobbs coming out of nowhere and beating on Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, like that's a huge endorsement of confidence in him from the company, in my opinion. It doesn't get much bigger than that. And so, hey.
Yo, Mel Coleman art, she gonna have to change one of them pictures. I think they were all white.
They were all white. I don't know where y'all gonna put this big black person on there, but I can't wait to see how I know, because she be on her Zoom. She be on her Zoom bad. Okay, so I don't know where she go. I don't know where Hobbs gonna go in that Last Supper picture, but I can't wait because he's filling that table up. Filling that table up.
3 seats.
Period. He's filling that table up, and I will say, like, I've been recently going back and watching a lot of Kenny's big New Japan matches lately, and particularly the ones with Don Callis on commentary. It's just fascinating to me. Like, you can see Easter eggs from even years before AEW was even founded of just like how we lead to where the story has gotten now. And I think that's why I'm still invested, just because like the roots of all this, it goes so much deeper. Like you can go back to like 2017, 2018, 2019 and like see like all of these like these little Easter eggs of like where we're going now. And so like I think that Full Gear probably, or even Wrestle Kingdom, is we're going to see like, that's why I'm like, Kenny gonna get his win soon. They typically try to do like a year arc. And so like obviously we started off in January 4th. Kenny has Don Callis by his side. He's more powerful than ever. He beats the shit out of Will Ospreay in his return to New Japan, takes back the championship that was originally created for him. And so, he has Don Callis by his side. He's doing great, but he loses him, so he goes on this losing streak. And so it's time for Kenny to get his lick back, hopefully in the Tokyo Dome. And I will be there. I will be there with bells on.
There you go.
Amen. We had Katsuyori Shibata versus Eddie Kingston. This was beautiful. Wow.
I mean, period. What else is there to say?
I had the wrestler Katsuyori Shibata towel out. I was dangling it.
Oh, okay.
I was.
Get it.
This is wrestling. Katsuyori Shibata, I love you. That one of my favorite wrestlers ever. And I would just like to say, Shibata is a part of the Three Musketeers with Hiroshi Tanahashi and Shinsuke Nakamura. So, like, that's his era. He was the one who was least likely to ever be some crossover star in the West. Like, Shinsuke Nakamura, he's the king. He does the laybacks and just rah, and Tanahashi, air guitar. He's the ace. Like, very flashy people. Then you got Shibata, who walks out in black shorts and black kick pads, and it's just like, I'm just a wrestler, dude. That's all I do. And so to see him like really be this crossover star now, and he like speak with his Google Translate, put his phone up, like that just what a legend. What a guy. Most of us thought that he would never wrestle again this time last year. And this year, like, he's been wrestling up and down the place, and like I've even gotten to see him wrestle in person. Like what, one, two, three, 4 times this year. Like that's nuts. And then Eddie is a double champion. Like this was just beautiful. I just felt like this was the miracle match. This was just a miracle match. Like it's just like all the miracles coming together. Just beautiful.
I wanted Shibata to win.
If Shibata had won, I'm not gonna lie, they would have had to escort me out of the building. And it was too early in the show for that.
It's real.
And it's weird because, I was sitting in the media section and, I feel like sometimes, like, and we've talked about this before, like sometimes in the media section, people like, they don't want to cheer like that. Like they don't want to get, but me. Me. All right. Y'all can act, like one of them, you ever been in church and people be like, y'all can act like if you don't want to praise if you want to, but I'm going to praise him. I'm going to praise him. Y'all can be quiet if you want to, but I know what he's done. And I know where I've been, so I'm going to praise him. I'm going to open my mouth. That's how I felt in that moment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Moving on. Oh, I can finally go to this. I'm going to skip around and leave that Christian Cage versus Darby for last. Swerve versus Hangman. Whoa. Y'all, here's the thing. Swerve has it. Like, Swerve just has it. Like, and I will say he has it with the charisma. Like what we were saying earlier. He has it with the charisma and he has it on the mic and he has it in the ring. Like, this is going to go down as one of, in my opinion, one of my all-time favorite AEW singles matches. And like, that's no small feat at all. And like that energy in that building, whose house Swerves? Nuts. And it's not just because it's his hometown. I was at Wembley. I was there. 80,000 people. Whose house? Swerve's house. They did it. I knew it was nuts. The event staff, the venue staff was doing it. In their polos. I said, oh my God, in their polos and their lanyards.
Yo, Swerve has got it. He is on his, he is there. He has just about arrived. He just needs that belt.
Sorry, we're not debating anymore. That is the first Black world champion. Y'all, we argue about it. Argue with your mama. And I will say, like, when I got to ask that question at the media scrub, for Tony to all but say, yeah, this the one. This my guy. He said, this my guy. I said, I don't think we've ever really seen that. I don't think we've ever seen any wrestling company get behind a Black man that way. Like, I think we've seen Black world champions? Yes. But we've seen typically people, they'll be like 10 to 12 years into their career. And it's like, okay, like, we're finally going to put the belt on you. But they've never been positioned as being like, oh, well, they're the guy. Like, this is the guy. I don't think we've ever seen like a Black star be groomed to clearly be like, oh, this is all going to be yours. Like, this all finna be yours. And that's interesting. I've never seen that. Like, I've never seen it. I've been watching wrestling for 17 years on the 9th. Never seen it.
Bro, not you having the actual date.
October 9th, 2006.
Hilarious. Listen, I'm in my very infancy in watching, and I think I learned fairly quickly. As soon as I started watching, it was very obvious, and not just with AEW, just like kind of everywhere, that like, okay, you're absolutely right. Like, you don't see a lot of Black wrestlers that are put in that position to say, hey, we're going to make you a star
yes.
In that way. So, and make you that champ. So not just star, but like actually put the belt on you more specifically. So, I mean, shout out to Swerve.
And this match was awesome. Like the match was awesome. I love Hangman. I love Hangman. And also the thing about him is a lot. If you look on Cage Match, my good old faithful, if you look at the top rated AEW matches in history, he's in a lot of them, and not just in tag, but in trios and singles. He's been one of those. That's why, and I think like that is why what Swerve says about like him being a top guy, about his spot. Like Hangman has been in those big moments, and he shows up, and Swerve proved that he could show up too. I felt like this was the coming out party of him as a main eventer, and I feel like he succeeded with flying colors. He passed with flying colors. Obviously, this feud isn't over, and it shouldn't be over because I think that they have a lot more left to do with this. But I think this was awesome. This was absolutely awesome.
Especially with that ending. You know, Prince Nana getting involved. Yo, the way that Prince Nana has like shot up.
I think it also with the whole like embassy, because I remember like when they first came around, I was just like, like I never got invested. I just feel like it's just the perfect storm of a whole bunch of things happening like at the right time of bringing things together. Like, because here's the thing, like this wasn't the first iteration of Swerve's faction. Like, you know, he had them two weird white men at first, and I don't know what was happening there.
It just didn't work out with Parker.
But this just, you know, hey, everything happens how it's supposed to happen. And this has just been great. Like literally after Swerve won, the way that the entire arena, when they started. Wait, I'm about to put this.
That literally fed families, like honestly.
Families were fed. Families were fed. Like when the entire crowd started after Swerve won, I said, oh, this is a movement. Like this is a movement. And I think like, hey, I don't cap for one person over another, but I do think like people do gotta give AEW their credit of like, think about like the black stars that have gotten over organically, like they really have. Like Swerve, Nana, the Acclaimed, I think, are a great example as well of people who literally got themselves over. And it's just very clear, like they're not like the top black stars in the company, they're the top stars of the company. And I think like that's something that we don't see in wrestling as often as we should. And so this was great. I will go next to the women's. Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart, I think was awesome. This match was excellent. And I think like this should be the norm for AEW going forward of how to build a women's match. I think that they built this feud very well. They made it feel important. They made Chris look like a star heading into it. They made Julia look like a star heading into it. They even had like the face-off and collision of both of them being like the leaders of their factions and all the men standing behind them. I think that the build was great. Like the build was great. You got like Julia taking out all of Chris's friends, and now they got the crazy eyes. Willow and Sky Blue now have the crazy eyes with the mist. And so we don't know what's about to happen with them. I'm actually very interested to see like, are they going to go like on a dark turn or something? But because obviously something is wrong with them. Something is wrong with them. Like Willow ain't been smiling. Like, you know, Sky Blue, she usually do that little thing with her tongue hanging out her mouth. Like, and she didn't do that. She did not do that last night. She did not do that. But this match was excellent. Julia Hart is what I've been waiting to see from some of from the girls who came into AEW green. And I mean, like she's taken like advantage of every opportunity she's been given. And she's just worked her ass off. Like, just improvement every time she comes out. She didn't just, and not even just in the ring. Like, is she greener than some of the other people? Yes, but she's been working hard, and also her character is just phenomenal. She's gotten so great to where she is the star of House of Black. I'm gonna be honest. I can't say that I care about Malachi and Buddy. Not because they're bad or anything. It's just like, one, they don't be around like that, and like two, like I feel like I haven't gotten invested in them the way that I've gotten invested in Julia and Brody King, just because like I just feel like there's just been so much more to sink our teeth into with this character of Julia Hart. And Chris Statlander is more than a woman. Just kill, like when she picked that girl and did the switchy thingy and then the families were fed.
You know what? I really agree with you about like how it was built, and my thing is like I love it when I go into a match and I'm like, I genuinely don't know who's going to win because of how well that they made it seem so evenly matched, and just how they had Julia going at her and her friends. So yeah, I really like that. I just wanted to say, like, I like that aspect.
That Chris Statlander. And here's the thing, I will say, the AEW women's division has a lot of work to do. But I do think that sometimes we get so lost in the discourse of what needs to be done that it's not enough praise given to the things that are happening. And I think that Chris Statlander's reign is one of those things that needs to be given a lot more credit. Like, she won that belt at the end of May, and she has defended it nonstop. She has been doing all of the things. She has been showing up, and not only just showing up, like, the matches are good. Like, I haven't seen a bad Chris Statlander match since she got back. And she's doing the reps. Whenever AEW does house shows, she's on them. Like, she's on them. Like, she's doing the damn thing. She's just showing up and she's showing out. And I think like she has just been consistently great. And I think that more people should be talking about it. Like, she's incredible. So shout out to Chris Statlander and shout out to Julia Hart. Obviously, she's going to take some time off to go get married to that man, Mr. Lee, Shotty Lee. And well-deserved time off because she's been working. She's been on her Zoom. Next, we have Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Period. This is what I was here for.
And Angel cried.
Listen, this one, and of course, Chris and Julia, but this is the one. This is the one. This is. I don't even know what else to say. I had heard of Zack Sabre Jr. and I didn't really become a fan until I saw him at what was it? Al and I went to what was it? GC? I think it was GCW.
You saw the Nick Gage match,
baby. I don't even know. See, now I gotta look through my photos and stuff like that. What?
Because he faced Nick Gage GCW at one point.
No, I don't think so. Because this was in Vegas when we went for Double or Nothing. So
okay, no, that was in Brooklyn. So yeah, no, okay, gotcha.
And I was like, oh, okay, I get it, and I've been a fan ever since. So this one for me was, and the fact that like Bryan Danielson this was one of his dream matches. I'm like, it was good. It was good.
Zack Sabre Jr. has been on the same level as I think as like Will Ospreay, like, so has always been great, has always had excellent matches, but he was lacking that one signature match to kind of like launch him into the mainstream stratosphere. And obviously we saw that happen for Will Ospreay earlier this year with the Kenny Omega match. And I feel like Will Ospreay was always excellent, but that match put him in a whole different audience of viewers, and so everybody now knows that he's on the level of that, that Bryan Danielson, that Kenny Omega, that Okada, and like, he's on that level. And I feel like this was that match for Zack Sabre Jr. He's always obviously had the ability, but this was the one where the rest of the world found out just how good he was. And I watch a lot of wrestling. Like I watch a lot of wrestling and like a lot of styles of wrestling, a lot of different wrestling promotions, a lot of wrestlers. I've never seen anything like this. Like never seen anything like this. I've never seen technical wrestling be showcased like this on a mainstream platform. And it surely has not happened this century. I know for a fact it hasn't happened this century. And possibly probably within the last, I want to say 60 years, maybe since the days of like the Luthez and the Billy Robinsons back in like the 60s or like the 50s. We haven't seen it. So like for this to even happen, I think it's more than a dream match. Like this is a whole style that never gets showcased, especially out here out west. That's why Bryan Danielson cried afterwards. Like he was literally crying. I've never felt anything like this. Like I've never seen, and it's weird. Like even in the audience, like obviously we were all into it, but it was a different type of match to where like you're not like screaming or jumping over everything. It's more so like you just looked around and everybody just like, whoa, just silent, like just jaws on the floor. The things that they were doing. Zack Sabre Jr. is excellent, I think, but this year especially, he's been on like a no, like y'all gonna remember me type shit this year. Like, and he was the first. This is the first year he's ever won singles gold for New Japan, first ever New Japan World Television Champion, and his reign has been excellent. Like I put it up on the same level as like Orange Cassidy's with the international title. This was incredible. Like, I mean, and incredible just doesn't even really describe it. This was his magnum opus. Like, this was art. An angel cried. What did Ariana Grande say? An angel cried. She cried.
I don't know what song that one is. I mean, I don't follow Ariana Grande like that.
It's the opening song of the Sweetener album.
Okay. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was great. And I hope we run this one back.
Oh no, we have to at this point. And also I like the way that Zack Sabre Jr. talk. He was like, Dragon Bullocks, darling. Dragon Bullocks, darling. You didn't submit me, darling.
I like how he checked in with Bryan Danielson, that he was like, there was a moment where he kind of checked in with him. It was very cute. Like, even though, like, you know what I mean? It looked like, or, you know, but I was like, you're checking in with him and this is adorable. And I love it. So, yeah.
You can tell that match meant a lot to both of them.
Yeah.
Like, it meant a lot to both of them. Like, and also, just to be quite honest, and Bryan Danielson said this, Zack Sabre Jr. is the best technical wrestler in the world. Like, Bryan Danielson is a very close number 2. But Zack Sabre Jr. has 100% surpassed Bryan Danielson. And I think it's also because, like, Bryan Danielson went a long time, like, not being able to, like, practice his skills. I think, like, a lot of his real skills, especially, like, being in WWE for a while. And even, like, in AEW, like, everybody's not, like, a technical, you know, whiz like that. But Zack Sabre Jr. works in Japan. He works in a style to where he can really do a lot of these things, I think, a lot more often. I think, like, he's been able to just develop that skill a lot more. So I do think he's still the best technical wrestler. And so did Bryan Danielson. So it doesn't really matter, guys.
There you go. Period.
And we had, last but certainly not least, we had Christian versus Darby. Woo! Listen, I ain't gonna lie. Darby got cooked. Like, at that media scrum, I was on the front row too, so I couldn't really avoid it. Like, he had, like, knots here on his head. Like, I said, oh, he beat your ass.
Yo, Christian, this spot right here, throwing him, and like, you had to watch it from every angle. So you're like, you see the arm catching a lot of it, right? You see the arm catching a lot of it, which is why he was, you know, had the sling, right? He was in a sling, right? Darby was?
Yes, he was.
But damn, Darby, climbing what mountain? Sir, we need you to have a seat immediately.
Darby said, and that's the thing too, he was the last person to come out for the media scrum. So like at least after the show, he had been backstage just chilling, I guess, for at least like a solid hour and a half. Then you come out and do the scrum. He said, yeah, I'm about to go to the hospital after this, but I mean, I got a meeting tomorrow. Gotta go, like, you know, because I'm about to climb Mount Everest. My dog. Are you? He said, yeah, I broke a nail. I said, you almost broke your spine. Friend, buddy, pal. Enough. And then he's about to be off TV. He's going to be off TV for like a month or so, you know, because climbing Mount Everest, I think it takes like a month? This motherfucker is not real.
This match was just, listen, for me, this is the best Christian Cage has ever looked. He looked great. And he did what he came to do. Shay, I don't know why. Like, listen, I am a fan of the sleeveless turtlenecks. Now, I know Al and Miko they're haters. They're haters of the sleeveless turtleneck. I'm here for it. But Christian Cage, bruh. Sir.
He's the father we all need.
No, sir. He be taking it too far. Shay, what you got?
He is exactly what she said. I'm glad the right person won. That's what I'm saying. So I didn't need to hear no promos for the next weeks talking about my body's broken, but I'm a champ. Break my body more because I like it. I don't need to hear all that. I'm glad the father that we all need in this match. I actually wake up in a cold sweat sometimes because I know that I am a victim. I could be a victim of Christian's jokes, but
as a person, when I too don't really have a father, and so I know that at any given moment, I ain't gonna lie, I was so scared at media scrum because if he'd been like, "Do you have a father?" I would have been.
It literally keeps me up at night. Like I am literally like he could get me at any moment. Like, but you know what? I stand him.
I love Christian. I think it's really great for me, I think, to see him finally be treated as a top guy because he's always been really good, but I think like he was always a lot of, whenever he was in WWE, if he wasn't in a tag team, he was in Edge's shadow. And like in TNA, he was a top guy in TNA, but like then TNA just stops. TNA had a lot of problems, okay? They just had a lot of problems. And I just feel, and then he had like, you know, the injury and nobody knew if he was going to be able to wrestle again. And like, I feel like everything is finally clicking. And the fact that it's clicking, like, bro, he's 49 doing the best work of his career. And honestly, doing some of the best work in the company. I think that also goes back to like what we were saying earlier about MJF of just the world champion has to set the tone. And I think like right now that's not happening because the secondary champions have been so good this year, like have just been so good this year. And also I think like we're finally at a point because typically Tony Khan has said that he typically books from all out to all out. So like that, consider that to be like a fiscal year. Like that's just when we go in the year, that's why we've seen so many new people be introduced to like the main event scene and the title scene, like in these, like in the past month. And so like every single top guy right now in AEW is doing their best, like really stepping it up. Everybody's stepping it up. And so like, that's why it becomes even more obvious when somebody isn't doing their best work because you getting cooked. This 49-year-old man in a turtleneck who tell everybody that they daddy dead is literally running circles around everyone. He's so good at this. And he just commits. And like, it's just like, it's weird, like being like up close because you can tell like he don't blink. He says outlandish stuff. And I mean, he just doesn't blink. It's kind of scary. Aisha, you were saying something? I think you're
No, I was saying you're right. I think what was most exciting, I didn't even know if you wanted to even go there. If you wanted to talk about
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that's where you were going next. Or if you, I'm gonna let you do the honors. Go ahead.
I just would like to say this might have been one of the best moments ever for me as a professional wrestling fan. And I don't say that like I've done a lot of cool stuff this year. I've seen a lot of cool stuff this year. I think this took the cake for me. Edge was my first favorite wrestler. My first ever favorite wrestler. I used to carry around his autobiography around middle school like it was the Bible. When he retired, I remember I was 13? And I just remember the way that I sobbed in that room. You would have thought somebody died. You would have thought somebody died. Like I remember when I used to when I got my first job and I would get but I didn't have a bank account, so I would go get the checks cash from my grocery store paycheck, and I would buy the WWE Network, like the 3-month gift cards from Walmart. And so I would watch one for NXT because NXT used to be on the network, but then I would watch Edge and Christian show that totally reeks of awesomeness because they used to have a lot of original content before they moved to like Peacock. A lot of good shows too. Like they need to bring some of them back. I will say it was some great stuff on there. Like it was some really great stuff on the network. I will say, like that is one of my absolute favorite people like ever. And even like I will say like when he came back in 2020, I was really excited. Obviously, I watched his return, and all of that, but as an adult fan, I will say like I knew that like WWE just wasn't where my heart was anymore. Like I really didn't like identify with the product. So although I was really happy to see him back, I had to like weigh the pros and cons. Like as much as I love Edge, truly like it wasn't worth sitting here and watching Raw for 3 hours or SmackDown for 2 hours. And so like I feel like I kind of like just like I'm happy you back, but I just can't watch this. But I'm happy for you. But so to have him in AEW, like I feel like oh this right here, it's hitting like crack. I cried. Like I was sobbing, screaming. I had like that was, but I think what's even cooler now is like this is the first time in their entire single careers where Christian is the bigger star. And like that is insane. Like that's insane. And I never thought I would see this. I've watched their careers, like obviously, like it feels like since like near the beginning. And like it's insane. Like he's not his shadow per se, but it's like, oh no, Christian is the top guy here. And it's just beautiful to see. It's just beautiful to see. Just 10 out of 10. And also this is just done so well. Like when Metalingus came on this day. Sinclair, you think you know him? What?
I was excited to join in the excitement of like the longtime wrestling fans to see this. Because obviously this had been rumored, right? This has been rumored for a while now. And so for me, it was like, this is awesome for all of you. I mean, I thought it was cool just in general. Without having all the history, but for longtime fans, I was like, this is really cool. And it was great to share in that joy. So yeah. So cool.
I'm literally tearing up just thinking about it all over again. Like, y'all don't understand. Y'all just don't get it. You don't understand. Like even like I said, I used to carry around his autobiography like the Bible. And a friendship like theirs is so rare in wrestling. Like even like I hate to bring them into it, but look at Santana and Ortiz. I like they done fell out. Like Edge and Christian have been friends since middle school, and literally like he grew up without a father. So like Edge grew up without a father. So like he used to go on vacations and like basically like raised by like this man's family. Then they go on their careers together, and like the fact that they're still friends. That's why people. And this is how I would like to say, yeah, I'm talking my shit now. Because, yeah, people are like, oh, well, he would never sully himself and go down to AEW. It's not about AEW, guys. Y'all don't understand. They locked in. They twins. Locked in twin. He wants to, and what did he say? His daughter, who's named Lyric, by the way, who would have thought? said, you know, you need to go finish your career with Uncle Jay. Go have fun. I rest my point. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest. I just want to say a lot of y'all gonna get y'all feelings hurt every time you still thinking such and such will never go to AEW. It's not about the y'all might care about viewership numbers and how many fans are in the audience. Like some people care about that but for people who have already been there, done that, sometimes people just want to work with their friends. Sometimes people just want to be around their people. That's what wrestling is about at the end of the day. It's about connection. It's about collaboration. People just want to be around their people. And sometimes other promotions can't offer that, you know?
Period. And that's all right. That's all right. Like there are more fulfilling things than, you know, obviously like with Jade going to WWE, you know, and people having lots to say about that. And it's like, it's not always about, like you said, it's about trying to connect Shay going on. But also I think, you know, for Jade, it was like, it's more than money. In that case, it's more than money. You know, she probably wants to build in whatever people's reasons are, let people be happy. And
exactly. I think Jade is exactly where she needs to be.
Yeah. If you know, the trajectory that she's trying to go, she has these examples. And so, you know, all the best to her and, you know, welcome Mr. Rated R superstar to AEW.
On this day.
Listen, I enjoyed wrestling. I really did. I was hanging on. I tried to stay in for the scrum. I think I was waiting to hear Lyric's voice, and then I said I had to conk out because by that time,
I got the first question too. I think so. You had to go to sleep like right there.
I was waiting. Great.
Bobby said, I'm looking forward to watch Hyann wrestle for the New Japan. Yes, so that came out this week. So Hyann will be Julia's opponent for the Fighting Spirit Unleashed show in Las Vegas. That's happening really soon. So that's going to be exciting. She's great. I think she's awesome. She's from Texas. I watched her. She actually did the she did the triple threat undisputed British Women's Championship match at the Rev Pro show versus Mickie James and Alex Windsor. She's awesome. I think she's a star. Athena's talked about her a lot too, saying that she wants to face her. I think that she would, honestly, I would love for her to be in the Ring of Honor title picture. I think she would be a great Ring of Honor women's world title, women's champion. But yeah, she's going to be great. But yeah, that was WrestleDream. I agree, Aisha. It was an amazing pay-per-view. It's now in my top 3 favorite AEW pay-per-views, maybe in my top 5 pay-per-views ever, up there with, guess what, All Out 2023, because who thought that show was going to be that good, and Forbidden Door 2022. Any thoughts? Any other thoughts on WrestleDream?
I'm happy for the fans. I'm happy at, you know, how wrestling is just like evolving. This is a great time for wrestling, honestly. So I want everyone just to enjoy wrestling and stop making it a turf war. I just love wrestling, you know? So yeah, it was really, yeah.
I'm with Shay. Y'all enjoy. I don't even get into the discourse at all. I honestly just start blocking and muting, and Twitter has been a dumpster fire anyway. I'm sorry, X, but we're not calling it that. But I guess that's the technical name. It'll always be Twitter. But yeah, let people enjoy things. And WrestleDream for me, I honestly going into it, I was like, okay, this will be a little cute, another pay-per-view. That's literally what I thought, except for like Brian and Zach. I was like, oh, this will be a little cute one. And then I was like, well, y'all did what needed to be done. Should have added more women's matches, but we don't have time for that. So anyway, but it was good.
Yes, it was very good. And yeah, you know, I've also realized about the discourses, nobody's convincing anybody. I'm gonna be honest, like, y'all, I know for a fact that AEW could shut down tomorrow. I'm not gonna start watching WWE, guys. I'm just not. I know not. And and that's okay. And let's just be real. WWE people who are hardcore WWE fans, you don't like the AEW product, and that's okay too. Like, we like what we like, guys. Like, we like what we like, guys. And I think that luckily there's so many options out there that everybody can get a good heaping feeling of whatever they like. And you get at least what we have 2 major companies pushing out at least 5 hours of television per week. Like, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen anything like this since what, the late 90s. So enjoy it. Like what you like. That's all.
Exactly. Even like with me, I don't have the patience to watch 3 hours. I come in, I look for who I'm looking for, and I leave. SmackDown, I come in, I look for who I'm looking for, and then I leave. NXT the only one I watch just because I don't know. I have like this like the same thing how you feel about certain shows. Like you have like a just like this. It's my little baby, and I can't just walk. I can't like I just gotta watch him full. Like I support.
I've heard a lot of people say that about NXT though. Like I will say NXT is the only WWE product that I can honestly say I don't really hear a lot of negativity about at all. Like I don't really hear almost any discourse about NXT. Maybe it's because it's a developmental brand, but everything that I hear about it, I will say, is mostly pretty positive. Just it's quick and straight to the point. You're 2 hours, you in and you out a week, and that's that. Like everybody has their thing. Obviously we know I'm on my Dynamite Zoom. On Dynamite, my Collision, my Rampage Zoom.
I'm a Collision cowgirl. Honestly, I kind of like Collision a little bit more. Like that's just me.
I've loved Collision lately. I will say I wasn't originally a Collision cowgirl, but I've been converted. I've been converted. But hey, that's wrestling. This is a great episode of Maps and Graps. Oh my gosh, we did 2 hours. That's crazy. It's also really great to be back with you all. I will say, like, obviously, we've been on break for a lot of different reasons. But, I just would like to say shout out to all the women who have been pivoting, starting their own shows, starting their own things, like, really pivoting some of these after shows and like some of these like recap shows onto their own platforms. It's been really awesome to see. Like, make sure that you support, like, all of the ladies, Nikki and Santana, Al, Meeks, Kat, Stephanie. I hope I'm not missing, but if I am missing anybody, charge it to my head and not my heart.
Well, also, Shay right here.
Yeah, Shay is doing her thing. Shay is doing her thing. I'm sorry, I forgot you because you were right there.
I'm up here. They see it.
And Aisha, are you getting back on your Zoom?
Yes, but not in like. I mean, sure. Yes, I am. But I don't think it's going to be wrestling focused. But yeah. But y'all, I'm around. Y'all can. I'm out here taking pictures and trying to get the other side of things on and popping while y'all are doing in front of the camera things.
Period.
Yeah.
And yeah, also, we'll probably be doing this once in a while because there will always be stuff going on with Stardom and Joshi Wrestling. And so expect to see us all together at least once a month. I would say like at least once a month. But yeah, so we'll be doing this. Thank you, Bob. Bobby been riding with us. Hey, Bobby been consistent. He been riding with us wherever we go. He go. I like that. Thank you. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate you. But where can we find you, ladies?
Oh, you want? Okay. You can actually find me at 7:00 today for the NXT After Show, and every Thursday with the amazing In Cat We Trust collab with my podcast. So that is what I'm doing right now, and I'm working on some other stuff because I do have a thing. I told you I'm a Collision cowgirl, but I'm right now we just going to keep it with NXT for now. But I tell you I'm a Collision cowgirl.
Love to hear it. You can find me on Twitter at Aisha Watches. Also, again, y'all can Google search me out and find my Instagram. I'm over there. Again, I'm with Shay. I have some certain things in the works, and I'm looking forward to putting that out. And yeah, and having you ladies be a part of it. Though this is the first time you're hearing about it, so we'll talk.
And you will find me at Lyric Wrestling on the Twitters and the Instagram. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know if it's good or not, but hey, we about to find out. Hey. And I'm going to actually upload a supercut of all the questions that I got to ask at this media scrum because there were a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know whether to say thank you or not to a lot of people for not showing up to Seattle, but like there was only like 2 or 3 rows of people, so like I was on my Zoom. I don't know, like it was, and so yeah, so I'm gonna upload a supercut soon, and like obviously working on some articles. I have an interview in the works, and so yeah, cool stuff all around. But once again, thank you so much, everybody, for supporting Maps and Graps. It's great to be back, and I will be back next week on Thursdays. I'm back on my Zoom. So, but until next time, bye, everybody.